My presentation, Maria Felicia, where you put it?
On the desktop, there's a folder.
Just a second. Oh, fine, of course. So, by the way, the good news, the bad news is that it is later. Should be lunchtime, so I won't be bother you too much. The good news is that I'm having really breaking news. Also, for this reason, I put flames on my presentation, as you can see, because we have now the availability of the cold fish for the new work program of European anti-fraud program. So, which is probably the most important perspective that we can imagine. So, starting from the past, arriving to the new, this is what is Fred 2, the genesis, we can say, of Fred 2. And we're very proud because probably we skip to say that in this building, it is the real birth of Fred 2 project. Fred 2 project is an outcome of a laboratory, of the so-called experiential laboratory that we used to make during the postgraduate master in Euro planning, which is one of the tradition of this university. And we are having the honor to have the father of this postgraduate training path, Professor D'Ascenzo, who invented this path 13, 14 years ago, probably, coming to the 13th edition now. So during the 2022, we had the experiential laboratory of our masters, and we decided to show.
Sorry, we have to share the.
Oh, sorry. And we decided to submit a proposal in focusing on the European anti-fraud. As you probably know, European anti-fraud is a direct funds managed directly by the European Commission. And so we had the first idea to study the cold fish of that year. We have to say, I can anticipate that the cold fish is not so different year by year. We will see later what I'm talking about. Novelty of this 2022 cold fish was the consideration of the recovery and resilience facility. Imagine we have to contextualize the time we are operating in this project. So this, if the cold fish was 2022, imagine that it was the birth of the call for proposal was 2021, so the first year of the recovery and resilience facility. And this is the luck of our project, Fred 2 project, the luck of Professor Maria Felice Arezzo, who succeeded in creating an observatory, having in mind also this important part of European funds. As you can see, we started in this environment with a call for proposal split into the so-called TRAI, as you can see the acronym, which is the training, conference, workshop, and seminars. And there was also another line of budget called Technica, TA, Technical Assistance, but it is not relevant for us. As you can see, here was the split of the budget. We could count on 1,100,000 euro, and the co-funding percentage is the 80% of the overall budget. The deadline of the call for proposal was June the 22. I remember because I was sick by the COVID, and clicking the submission button was really, really very hard. Luckily, we can now just have a bad memory of those days. As already mentioned, also by Maria Felice, Fred 2 system lasts in 12 European levels events, conference, webinar, workshop, and study visit, as we precisely did day by day in the 24 months of our duration of our Fred 2 project. Of course, another big issue, the creation of the observatory, anti-fraud observatory. Another was the experiential collab learning, we discovered that plenty of team. So when that of course is a model, but we cannot say that it's a standard across the European countries. Here we have the representative of the Italian AFCOS, high-level representative, but we discover, for example, that in Finland, the AFCOS is one person, only one person. We can ask questions to ourselves why this is happening, and why, for example, in Greece, the configuration, it is different from the Italian one, but very more, let me say, populated in a sense. And this makes a difference. It was one of the, according to my modest idea and opinion, one of the first thought that we received in FRED2 project. So we need a lot of exchange between practitioner and AFCOS representative, and this is valid European-wide. Furthermore, because the configuration of these entities are pretty different in each state. So again, this is already Maria Felice showed this slide in a sense. I put my ID card just even with the FRED2 logo, just to say which is the composition of our project. So I will go very, very fast. Also with this one is the schedule of the activities and the all the lasting conferences and study visits. Let me now arriving to the present, we can say the past, still the past. So the last year, 2024, call for proposal. Why I'm conducting you in this part? Because of course, as Maria Felice already mentioned, that the project is finished. It's finishing and this month, of the current month, but we are very strong and armed in submitting a new proposal this year. So let's evaluate what program, what program, cold fish and cold fish, just to say what is changing, what is our orientation, what our future orientation. Why not, considering also, I was not present, sorry, but what Professor Di Bartolomeo mentioned, that money is an important item also for the Sapienza University. Well, talking about the last call for proposal, it has been issued on the 5th of February 2024, and the budget, as you can see, this is the overall budget for the entire European anti-fraud work program, yearly work program. So also including fighting fraud action, and the one that we are now focusing with. The budget, overall budget, as you can see, for the two call for proposal related to FRED2 projects, so the possible novel of FRED2 project was a technical assistance 10 million, over training conference and staff exchange only 1 million. And this is we can a little bit complain with this configuration, but it is coming directly from Brussels, so we cannot intervene in any way. The 7th of May was the famous deadline of the call for proposal, so we have to expect that May should be a very active month, also because I can spoil you that it is absolutely the same what happened last Thursday, which was issued of this year call for cold fish for European anti-fraud. I prepared just a very new slides over the weekend just to give you the information, very updated information. Of course, this is in the presentation, of course, will be distributed. The blue words you can see is an upper link, so you can find the document, the whole text. Well, the content was absolutely the same structure, 4 topics for the technical assistance, and 4 topics also for the trade part, so training, conference, and staff exchange and study, in which we selected the trade number 2 originally, and so we analyzed also the last year configuration of the same topic, of course. Type of eligible action, we can say that it is something that is what we had in mind since the beginning, and so we can proceed on the same path, on the same direction. It is an effective direction. You can see the 5 letters, and especially the last one, what is needed is still a need of the European Commission, the European Anti-Fraud Unity, the OLAF, is specialized training, contact between practitioner and academia world. And so this is something that it is anyway relevant after years. So here we can see that who can attend to a training course, for example. Public authorities, of course, national level, regional level, and this is important because you can have contact also with the data provider. And thinking to the future, it is something that we can start having in mind. Will be more detailed later. Of course, the second player, relevant player, is research and educational institutes. So no profit, also research institute, also private could be a subject, the real subject of a project like is one of the possibilities, because we have to remember that, of course, we have plenty of way to interpret a call for proposal. This is a classical thing of all the call for proposal. I used to say that a call for proposal should be imagined like a glass, for example. In this glass, you can put gasoline, no, better wine, beer, oil, and all the liquids. And so for this reason, a call for proposal has this kind of language. Who could attend, who could participate to the project? Of course, all the European member states, including the OCT. OCT is overseas countries and territories, fantastic places like, for example, Aruba, Antigua, all the, which is Holland, is a Dutch country, and so also these are entitled to take part to a similar proposal. I don't know what is the level of anti-corruption and anti-fraud in Aruba and Antigua, but anyway, just to say that it is a possibility to submit a proposal also for them. Well, the duration is still remain the same. I'm doing this information, I'm talking about this information because, as I anticipated, it remains unchanged, totally unchanged. So a possible project could last since from 12 up to 24 months. The maximum budget for every single project, so the maximum is not written, but the minimum for the technical assistance is of 100,000 euros, as you can see, and the minimum is 40K for a trade call for proposal. Again, absolutely unchanged. Criteria, because if you want to prepare a project, you should have in mind which are the evaluation criteria. It is, let me say, dealing with the European project since 30 years, the criteria, the set of criteria should be considered like a sort of holy Bible while writing down a proposal, filling a template, a formulate for the projects. Of course, you can see here that there is a minimum and a maximum score unmarked also, which is the minimum threshold to be passed. Also because we can say, Cruciano and Vincenzo, they would proudly say that when we submitted project like Threat 2 was classified the first in Europe, and so we are very proud about that. But again, this building should be proud because once again, who really wrote the application of Threat 2 were students of the postgraduate masters. So let's see something which is let me say, not very nice in European anti-fraud program. Luckily, there is not a project officer connected, so I can use bad words also addressed to the Olaf unit and the European Commission. Why having a mono-beneficiary project? Unfortunately, Fred 2 project, one of the real trouble of the project was to be only mono-beneficiary. So this means that Sapienza University, for organizing the study visit in Athens, for example, and Maria Felice is the real witness of that, faced a lot of difficulties for selecting providers, for catering, for the whole, having the conferences and some logistic aspects. And I have to say, unluckily, it is the same configuration now, mono-beneficiary. This was something that we can cope with, and again, it is difficult. And now this is the new slide, due to the fact that last Thursday, opened the 2025 call for proposal. Let's see what I probably had in mind since times and times. This year is the 25th anniversary of Olaf. So I thought to myself, more money, wow, wow. Well, it was, of course, probably not due to the anniversary of the Olaf, but for a budget distribution in 7 years, like the multi-annual financial framework is. But we are adding 1 million more, of course, to technical assistance and not to training conferences, staff exchange studies, which is, as you can see, the budget is still 1 million, like 4 to 3 years ago. The code document is similar. I am deeply already started analyzing the code document, having in mind the possibility to submit a proposal. So the engagement rules are absolutely the same. They invented a special rule related to the project acronym that should have this naming convention, years, country originating the project, and then the acronym. Mono-beneficiary, I prayed, but it is the reality of the code proposal. The code deadline will be May 15th. So for this reason, I mentioned before that will be an active month, the month of May. Well, what we have in mind, I start saying that we can focus only also with research provider, also private in case, but we now have the idea to focus the new FRED project. I don't know, FRED should be maintained. We will see that my last slide probably change, but on the CAP, due to the fact that it is agriculture and the funds related to agriculture is the most quantity of cases, both for irregularities and frauds registered in our country. So, of course, this is something that we are thinking of. We have the possibility to involve the National Council of Research in Agriculture, and this could be the next subject of the project we will submit this year. Of course, there are something that we can now add, configure thing in minds like artificial intelligence in our research, which is a domain that is the reality in every sector, and why not also in funds and preventing fraud on European funds. There's some data, but I will go very quick, due also to the lunchtime, of the fraud comparison in 2022 and 2023, just to reinforce, just to boost that the CAP is an important domain. This data, of course, are issued by Colonel Cruciani and Lieutenant Vincenzo Branchi here in Lyon, because it's took by the COVAF annual report, yearly report. I think now will be presented the new one, the one, of course, of last year. So some data in which you can see what is the real reality, sorry, this is in Italian, politica agricola comune, you can see the amount of frauds and irregularities recorded. Of course, this is the case of irregularities. Irregularities are a number very, very huge, as you can see. 293 cases, 47% of the overall cases in our countries. This is in the basis Italian. On resources, you can say less cases, 166, and cohesion and fishery policy, 155. This is the difference between irregularities and frauds. This is really something that after 2 years of project, we have this clear distinction. What is the boundary between an irregularity and a fraud? I mark it in red. The non-intentionality could be the main element on focusing and differentiating an irregularity from a fraud. I took because just to give you an overall picture, which is the ranking, the European ranking on 27 countries, and you can see that Italy ranks the 7th for European frauds and irregularities in the CAP policy, of course. Okay, just data, other data. Also, just to have a percentage amount, this is the same, but adding the percentage. And as you can see, the number could be less gray like the one I mentioned in the slide before. But I don't want to bother you with the data. I want to say that what we are thinking to, fraud repression through education, number 3, or Ginger just dancing with Fred. Ginger could be global investigation with a new generation of education and research. I'll finish. Thank you very much.